Hi, and welcome to the Let's Do Video Live YouTube stream. Today I'm here because my friends at Poly sent me their Poly X30 studio to check out. And I was going to do a normal product review and I've set it up, made a few test calls, a lot of things I like about it. The geek in me loves magnets. This is magnetic, and when you put it on, it knows and it shuts itself off. There's a lot of cool things, but I was realizing that I could tell you about the sound quality, I could tell you about the video quality, but what I really want is the experience from the other end. Because you're going to have 2 or 3 people sitting in the meeting room once we get back to our meeting rooms, and 5 or 6 connected like I am now at my desktop. So I called up Joe Santucci, my friend at Poly, and I said, give me a real demo. What I care about for this device is the desktop experience. So how about this? Hey Joe, why don't you introduce yourself and call me on it and show me the real experience?
Absolutely. So I'm here in our Austin, Texas office talking to you on a Studio X50. Same camera as the Studio X30. Both of them share the same one kind of position more for the small and huddle room, and then one position for kind of a medium-sized room at the X50. And today what I want to do is I want to show you, definitely we're going to go through some of the features, but I also want to show you one of the main things that we focused on when we developed the Studio X family, which is simplicity. So when we looked at the way that our customers were starting to do video, kind of taking it from the boardroom down into a more everyday experience in small huddle collaboration spaces, we noticed that they wanted something that they could deploy quickly, easily, and reliably. So that simplicity was something that we really focused on. So what I'm going to do right now is actually show you an unreleased feature coming in our 3.2 software release on the X50. I'm going to switch the camera over to my setup in the corner here. And what I have is I've got a Studio X30. Now this one is the Zoom SKU, so it's going to boot up right into the Zoom Rooms mode. It's got our quick and easy monitor clamp, another thing that makes that installation process extremely painless and really quick. So I'm going to show you here all that it takes. We've got a power cable, so I'm going to plug in the power, going to plug in the network, and then I'm going to plug in the HDMI to the monitor. Now I've also got our touch controller here, which is the Poly TC8. Now these are pre-paired at the factory, so once they boot up and they're on the same network, they're going to find each other. Make sure my monitor is on as well. So we're going to let that boot up.
And that was my experience with this one. I can say that's how I set it up the same way and it worked for me. So that's a legit demo right there.
Quick, easy, painless. You can really get a Zoom room up and running. So you're going to obviously generate the code from your own Zoom admin panel. You can set everything up, the background, name, all of the access and everything. Then you're going to get that code from your Zoom room admin panel, and you can really get one of these up and running, start a meeting in a Zoom room in about 5 minutes time.
Okay, so while that's booting up, do you want to tell me about some of your partnerships, and then we'll get back into the demo?
Yeah, so again, on that same theme of simplicity, right? One of the things that we wanted to do was not just have our own Poly video app, which is great, standards-based SIP H323, you can connect to just about anything. But a big part of simplicity, especially in today's world where so many organizations are moving to these awesome cloud video services, is we wanted to have native applications that could run on the Studio X. And so we started out with Zoom, but we've added quite a few since I know you were one of the first ones that got it. So when you first got it, it only had Zoom on it. But since then, we've obviously added quite a few. So now we have native applications from Zoom, from Teams, Go to Rooms, 8x8, and then with that 3.2 software release, so those are not in it today, but they'll be in it at the end of August. Currently in beta are Ring Central and Starleaf. So we'll have 6 different native experiences as a part of the Studio X family. So with those native experiences, you of course get the on-screen native feel, but also when you choose a native app on the unit, the TC8 also takes that native UI. So it gives the user a great experience with a familiar user interface when you use those native partner applications.
Now, a real quick point on native, because we live this stuff all day, so we're into
Yeah.
the lingo. But I think some people, there's a lot of people that are getting onto video for the first time, and my understanding is, all this stuff is software, right? I have everything we just looked at. Let me bring them back up for just a quick second. Just want to make sure I'm not lying. Yes, I have literally every one of those running on my desktop right now. So
Yep.
we're used to, I can buy a device and run my software on it. But when
Yeah.
I got this, it wasn't, hey, I have my device, now I need to load my Zoom on it. It was a Zoom device. It just ran as if
Exactly.
it,
So
and that's what you mean by my native. And that's for all of those. If I'm 8x8, I'm not going to install, it's just going to be an 8x8 box right out of the box.
Exactly. So it
Okay.
is going to boot up, and that's part of that simplicity. So it's going to boot up right into the native experience that you have selected. So it's a really streamlined process and a really slick way to get your rooms up and running in the shortest amount of time possible. And then with those native experiences, like for Zoom, for example, if you look on the Zoom certified devices page and look under appliances, which is not a Mac or PC, this is a purpose-built device. There's only 3 certified devices: the Poly Studio X30, Poly Studio X50, and the G7500. So in addition to just running their app, we also go through the level of working with their engineering teams to actually pass the certifications. We're team certified, Zoom certified, and we really look to give a great audio video experience with those partners when we could put the app on the device.
Yeah, and really quick, I was recently educated by some other people on your team about certification. I think we might have another video up on that. And I always thought it was just a marketing thing. You love them, they love you. Your logo goes here, our logo goes there. Of course, the stuff works together. All the stuff works together now. But I was very, very wrong. Microsoft, well, Zoom, all of them, they're super, super hardcore about this. It's not just a matter of our logo needs to look like this, and it's not just a matter of the protocols need to talk to each other, the behind the scenes stuff. It's user facing stuff. Microsoft knows how its users like Teams to work. They know how people expect things to mute and unmute when you start a meeting, when you stop, all those sorts of things. And they're not going to certify unless your device makes a Teams meeting, a Zoom meeting, anything work the way they want it to. So it's a user thing, and it's really important. And I get why you guys are so proud of it. It comes up a lot when we talk with Polly because you worked hard on it, and it makes a difference for the customers.
Yeah, it definitely does. And it was something where, even myself, I kind of assumed early on, if you get the app on there, you're pretty much certified. You're running their app, it's their experience. But they are looking for, such a tight integration between the hardware and the software that it's a long process to go back and forth with their testing lab and make sure that you dial it in perfectly to give the best end user experience.
Yeah, and it makes it really fair to say it is a Zoom device. It's not well, this one
Yeah.
is. This not a device
Yeah.
running Zoom. It is a Zoom device. And if you had sent me configured for the other ones, it would be that type of device.
Yeah, and then you can go in, like if you were to say you wanted to switch, you wanted to try something out, you can go into the admin settings with our web user interface, and you can actually change the service provider at a later time, and then it will just automatically boot up. It'll reboot using the other platform that you'd like to try out. So you can switch it later on, but for that initial setup experience, it goes with whatever you are provisioned for.
That's good. It does come up that sometimes a company using vendor A gets acquired, and the new company says we're all switching to vendor B. You don't want to have to get a bunch of new Studio X's that look exactly the same and are just running different software. So I'm glad we can switch, and people are going to need that.
And so, one of the things that we, like you said, with that really attention to detail and quality of working with these partners, a main reason why we're one of the only hardware providers that has this many partners wanting to have native applications on their platform comes down to the quality of our audio and video. So with video, as you can see, 4K camera, pretty standard these days, but a lot of attention to detail on the tuning. We've really spent a lot of time working on just this video quality that we have. It's a 4K sensor, 120-degree field of view, but then we also have a suite of features that we call Meeting AI. So what Meeting AI is intelligent features that work to enhance the experience. So we have on both the X30 and the X50, we have automatic group framing or automatic speaker tracking. And what you'll see there is a really natural tracking experience where we have tried to mimic what a professional camera operator would do for the transition. So no more jump cuts. We're doing intelligent transitions. So if it's just going to add a person, it's just going to zoom out and expand the view. If we are looking to, do a cut from one person to another person on across the room, then it's going to do a jump cut. But sometimes it's going to do a nice gentle ease. So it really has a lot of intelligence built into the camera. For video, and then for audio is a place where we actually have a ton of intelligence built in. So
real quick on the video, I just want to make one comment. I think that's going to be crucial when we come back to the workplace, because we're going to be social distancing in these meeting rooms. The 3-person huddle room is going to be a 1-person, phone booth workspace, and the 10-person meeting room is going to be a 3-person meeting room with everyone sitting spread out. So how's the camera going to capture that? We're going to need some of that, some intelligent framing. It can't be jumpy. It can't be annoying. It has to be smooth. You're going to have to really work it out in a way that captures the speaker without annoying the viewers. So, and just having it panned out the entire time when everyone's tiny isn't going to work for me. So I'm glad that the stuff that you were working on well before the pandemic, it really is going to help us in the post-pandemic world.
Our CTO team has been laser focused on that framing experience for quite a while now. And one thing initially, when you first kind of think about it, you're like, let's get it as responsive as possible. If someone speaks, we want it to get right on them really quick. But sometimes that speech might be just an offhand remark or a quick response, and then it's going to go back to the person who's presenting. So we've actually built in some intelligence to have it not be as responsive, which seems counterintuitive, but gives a really a better experience for the far end, and it makes it a lot less distracting and more usable in real life scenarios. And speaking of that, going back to the workplace, there's one feature that I want to highlight.
Is that what that first video is? Should we play that first video, or is that? Is the first video on the framing?
Is actually this feature that I'm talking about. Yeah. So
great.
One of my favorite things is, seeing what this software, how it, there's a ton of that the hardware brings to these platforms, but there's also features that these platforms bring to the hardware. So one of the features that people are most excited about in terms of going back to the office is a feature from Microsoft Teams. So this is available when you're running the Teams collaboration bar app for Studio X, and it's called Proximity Join. So in a COVID world, this is something that that people really are looking forward to avoid those shared surfaces, and we've got a video to show that.
Yes, if the less I have to touch things, the less I have to wash my hands, right?
Exactly.
All right, let's play that video. I really dig this feature.
Hello, everyone. I am here today with our Poly Studio X Microsoft Teams collaboration bars. Here we have the Poly Studio X50, and here we have the Poly Studio X30. And today I'm going to show you one of our favorite features of the Microsoft Teams collaboration bars, a feature called Proximity Join. So now more than ever, we're wanting to avoid touching shared surfaces when possible. Also love that convenience of just being able to see that a room is available, walk in, pull out my phone or laptop, and join right from that device. So all you have to do to use Proximity Join is open Microsoft Teams on your phone or your laptop, press Join with Room. You'll then see a list of the nearby rooms and also some rooms that are in your organization that are available. Select the room that you'd like to join with, press Join, and you're good to go and good to start collaborating on a Microsoft Teams meeting with awesome audio and video from our Poly Studio X Microsoft Teams collaboration bars. To learn more, visit us at poly.com.
Yeah, that definitely works for me. And honestly, I was seeing development on that pre-pandemic, and it was already working for me because everyone loves using their phones. Everyone has their phones in their hands. It's cool. We could have some cool things at work that we think are nifty and cool technology, but it's just such a better way of joining a meeting. But wow, now it's changed the conversation. Now it's I don't want to be touching everyone's controls all the time. I just want to touch my own phone. So I'm
Yeah,
sorry if
and
I
Microsoft.
took what you're gonna say, but oh
No,
my
no, no.
God.
That's no, that's dead on. And Microsoft actually just released a Teams publicly available roadmap where they're even expanding what you can do with your phone. So they've got that, and that's right now slated for December. So we're seeing even more of a push to just be able to use your personal device when you walk into a meeting room, which is really cool.
Yeah, make my phone just the remote control for my entire world.
Yep, exactly. So, really awesome stuff from Microsoft on that. We also see great stuff from Zoom in terms of being able to share content from any device when you walk into the room, and all of the partners are really pushing things forward in terms of the user experience. So really great to see all of the development happening in that space.
It's happening
Um,
quickly.
so
We're
we
just getting
talked a little bit
overloaded with
about
new features.
I know, right?
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
Teams and Zoom have really been pushing it these last few weeks.
They're stepping up. Man, that's great for everyone.
Absolutely. So we talked about video a little bit. Now, what Poly has really been known for, especially, both Polycom and Plantronics have a long history with audio. So we have had some really groundbreaking audio features over the years, and we've brought those forward into the Studio X family, but we've also added a new layer. So what I mentioned before with that meeting AI, we've got audio features under that suite as well. So we have a feature called Acoustic Fence, which is something we've had before. What that allows you to do is essentially set an angle out from the device, and then it's going to use those beamforming microphones to block out sounds outside of the acoustic fence. So, for meetings that are in a room that might have an entryway or a busy hallway, it's going to block out those distracting sounds while passing through the sound within the fence. Great feature there. But one of the big innovations that came with Studio X is a feature called Noise Block AI. So what Noise Block AI does is it uses machine learning techniques and an advanced algorithm to actually filter out noise. And we've got a demo video of this. I can tell you about it all day, but showing you, especially with an extreme example like a loud vacuum cleaner from my friends Brian and Chris down in our Colorado office.
Yeah, before I start the video, I want to say that the first time I saw the acoustic fence, because you guys have been doing this for a while, it was the most extreme demo you could imagine. It was a trade show. You guys had a trade. You were at it, and anyone who's been to a trade show knows it is the noisiest place in the universe because everyone's trying to make noise to get you to go to their booths. And in the middle of the Poly booth, and I think it was Polycom at the time, but same technology. They had an acoustic fence set up around a little area, and we couldn't even hear ourselves talking in the area. But afterwards, I saw the people watching remotely, they could hear us clearly. It's really like a magic fence. But we're about to see, this isn't acoustic fence. This is
Noise Block AI, so a new feature that we actually brought out just with the Studio X. It's now on some other products, but it actually premiered with the launch of the Studio X.
Got it. All right, let's check it out.
One of the biggest challenges during video calls can be distracting background sounds. It can be anything from just an irritation during your call to completely derailing your meeting while you have. Yeah.
Do you mind if I clean stuff up here?
I'm actually right in the middle of something. If you can give me just a couple of minutes, I can. Okay. So this is going to be a challenge during our video call. Here, I'm going to turn on Noise Block AI. All right. So now Noise Block AI is amazing. So during the times I'm not talking, the sound virtually goes away. But with Noise Block AI, even when I am speaking, it makes sure that my voice appears prominently above whatever distracting sounds may be happening in the room at the same time. To learn more about Noise Block AI, visit us at poly.com.
Okay, I get it. So this makes more sense for the home workers and these simple setups. We don't have to set up the actual acoustic fence. It just knows what's our voice.
Exactly.
So it's not an area thing. It's a voice thing.
Yep. So it's able to detect human speech and pass that through while filtering out distracting sounds. And really great for the home office for sure.
Yeah,
And
I could tell
you
you,
know,
I try to set up my area okay, and I turn off my air filters and my fans so you don't hear a lot of background noise. But there's a highway, a few hundred feet away, and sometimes a truck passes by, and there's an airport not
yeah,
far away. So there's an air, and there's neighbors, and I forgot to turn off my phone. We might have heard it beeping at the beginning of this video, very unprofessional. There's a cat in the other room. I mean, there's so much noise, and yeah, an acoustic fence seems like it's more of an office thing. I just need something to just kind of know what's me and not me and filter it out.
and we have a colleague who, since we went home, actually works right next to a fire station in San Francisco. And I mean, every couple minutes, it seems like sometimes in a meeting, you get that blaring siren sound, and Noise Block AI is able to take that out of a meeting. So we use extreme examples for demo purposes, of course, but for a lot of those things you mentioned, the HVAC unit, keyboard typing, little things that can be distracting in a meeting, it handles those absolutely no problem, which is great.
Yeah, if it could handle
So
the guy with the vacuum cleaner, it could handle the hum of your computer,
yeah.
or your ceiling fan or whatever.
And with the don't want to forget about some features like the content capabilities that are built into these. So we have an HDMI ingest, so standard. So you've got that reliable way to come in and plug in your PC. We've also got all of the great content sharing ways that you can use with the partner applications, but these are also touch enabled devices. So one thing that we've seen is a lot more touch monitors going into rooms for collaboration purposes. So we've got digital whiteboarding built into the device. And so they really are a true collaboration device, where sometimes you just want to walk into a room and use the digital whiteboard. Maybe you don't even have a meeting. You just want to use the space for some form of collaboration. You can do that with both the X30 and the X50 with the touch capabilities built right into the to the device. And then lastly, a great feature, again, to the simplicity, to the ease of use, to the end user experience. We have a feature that is kind of often overlooked when you look at these meeting room devices. Sometimes you're going to be outside of, you might not be in a Zoom meeting today. Maybe you are working with a partner that's using Blue Jeans or some other application, and you don't want to worry about dialing into some standards based dial string. You want to just be able to have that peace of mind. I can walk into the room with my laptop for this one and plug in. So we have a feature called USB device mode. And what that allows you to do is just select device mode on the TC8, plug in a USB, and then it just makes it essentially a webcam for your laptop. So you can still go that route if you need to. And that's something that users really love having to fall back on when they are going outside of their typical cloud video platform.
I like that. Yeah, I mean, ideally you have it set up as whatever it's set up as, and people are just using that. But there's always going to be someone who says, I just want to use my thing. I just use this, some guest or whatever, and to be able to use the great audio and video of it and not have to just do it on the laptop, which is what people usually do, which isn't ideal. That's a really nice option.
So I just realized we got so into the features that I wasn't even looking over at the corner. So we've actually been set up for a few minutes.
Oh, that's right.
There.
I forgot our
so
demo.
Switching back, as you can see, we have a Zoom Room UI on the TC8, and we also have that Zoom Room's home screen there. So from this point, all that you have to do, just really one step left, and that is just putting in the activation code. So you just go on the TC8, and I've already gotten this code generated from my Zoom Room admin portal. Hope I got that right. So as you can see, now we are a licensed room. I can tap Meet Now, and we're ready to go. So, that ease of use is really something that you can't really find in non-Zoom Room appliances. If you have to come in and set up a PC and run all of the cables and do everything, for every room, you're talking about a couple of hours. Whereas here, as you can see, you can have a Zoom Room up and running in just a few minutes.
Yeah, there was no installing Zoom. There was no configuration. You just put in the code and make your first call, which was my experience when I set it up down here. And if we're thinking about, well, that helps us in two ways. First of all, it helps us because if people are going to be using this at home, we might not have the IT person there, so it needs to be simple. And so for the non-IT person, it's great, but also for the IT person, because this isn't the old days where we're going to buy two of these, one for the boardroom in LA and one for the boardroom in New York for them to talk to each other. We're talking about putting the hundreds, thousands of these in all the meeting rooms. So it can't be a 2-hour setup process for each one unless we want to hire more IT people. So yeah, so for the IT person and for the home user, this is the way our modern appliances have to work. They have to just be set up and make your first call.
Yeah, and speaking to using them from home, they actually got even simpler with Zoom's launch of their program that they announced a couple of weeks ago with Zoom for Home. So that is going to be launching shortly. So rather than using the X30 as a full Zoom room, setting it up as a conference room, Zoom room license, and the whole deal, you're now able to use it as a personal device. So getting your personal calendar and using them at home a lot more simply. So just another example of us seeing how these platforms are adapting on the fly to work in this current environment.
Yeah, that might be the thing that finally, my entire time in this career, I've been waiting for living room video conferencing to happen, and we've tried many, many times. We've tried so many times, and it just never happens. And meanwhile, the biggest, most beautiful TV in the house is in the living room, and the most comfortable place to sit is the couch in the living room. And we all get up and go into our put on our laptops or go to our home offices to do video. And most home people probably don't have a Zoom room account, but everyone has a Zoom account these days. So if I can just run my regular Zoom on this, yeah, let's bring it into the living room and hook it up. And our daily pandemic family gathering phone calls, instead of being on my phone, can be, a much better experience. Yep. So I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, really looking forward to that. I know that is announced, and it's going to be coming, I believe, in the next couple of weeks. So still seeing some rapid development from Zoom, which has been awesome to watch throughout.
Yeah, they had a big drop a day or two ago. All kinds of new stuff.
Yep.
Everyone's given us new toys to play with. I love it. It's a terrible time. It's really a terrible time, but it's a good time for video.
And the great thing about the Studio X is, you can see a new feature on a platform, and you don't have to worry about running out to get new hardware. This is really able to leverage those features across most major platforms at this point, which is really exciting.
Yeah, we used to buy one of these, and it'll be good for a year or two, and then we're gonna have to buy the next version. But as long unless all of a sudden Zoom and Microsoft and all the other ones say they need a 10 times heavier processor, which they're not going to do because it needs to run on an iPhone and needs to run on everything else. I can't imagine their software outpacing the processor power you have in here. So I think we're good for a while.
Definitely. Yeah. So, that was kind of the rundown of the X30. I'm excited for you to, I know I referenced that 3.2 software coming at the end of the month. Excited for you to be able to see that. We've got some new features coming along, staying on that quarterly release schedule where, it's definitely not just bug fixes coming from the Poly engineering team. They're really working hard to make this hardware work more and be a bigger value to you as time goes on. So I know, like when you got the device, it could only run one application. Now it's up to 6 in a matter of months, and we're hoping to really give you a lot more functionality as time goes on.
Awesome. Well, it looks like I'm going to have to touch base with you again soon because there's a lot going on here. Anything else we need to know, or if people have any questions, where can they go to find out more?
Yeah, anything that you want to find out, you can find from our product pages on the poly.com website. We also have a lot more demo videos on our YouTube channel for Poly Company. So we've got some of the demos on the group framing and speaker tracking, which also works with masks, by the way. So it does more than just our old speaker tracking actually only did facial recognition to do the tracking. But now we have tweaked the algorithm so that our group framing and automatic tracking works with masks on, which is all the more relevant today. Yeah, so poly.com for product information, and we're also on all of the social platforms as well.
Awesome. Thanks so much for joining me, Joe. And thanks everyone who watched or will watch the recording in the future. This is live, but we are recording it. And if you enjoyed this content, please subscribe to this YouTube channel, and you could follow me on Twitter at Let's Do Video. Thanks.
Thanks, David.